What I've heard about what's happening in Hay is that there's going to be a phone mast which is called 4G, in other words, the fourth generation, and this is very much to do with smartphones, things like that.
The fact that this mast is going up in Hay and nobody seems to have been made aware of it before that is just it's just complete disempowerment for the people who live here. They're going to be affected by this in lots of ways, probably in lots of ways that the decision makers aren't even aware of themselves.
Yes, the World Health Organization have already stated that this is a class 2 carcinogen, 2B. A 2B carcinogen. I don't know the exact details of that as to how fast that would be growing in people's bodies. I don't know, but it's certainly...
asbestos started in the same way.
Yes, asbestos was, a similar thing.
But it hasn't been put out as and made public knowledge. There's no public ownership of this plan. The people who own the land, they've been able to make the decisions. The people who live next door to it have no clue. Likewise, with the school being proposed, those kids are now going to be probably living there. Not living there, but going there every day, and they've had no say in it, nor of their parents.
It's in this country that the mobile phone companies and the government are denying the severe health effects that it's having on people.
It is a human rights issue, and it is an issue for the children, because there are people who are not taking their interests into account. They are not looking at precautionary principle, which has been many years ago recommended to the government, and there seems to be always precedent taken by the profit making of the mobile phone industry.
And I'm concerned about the positioning of it being near the school with the children, near the surgery with pregnant women and young children obviously going in there too, and with the elderly, because without a doubt it will, it's a fast track to dementia. Of that there's no question. So it's just really, really worrying, especially with children. They're a sitting target, they can't get out. And I imagine if they feel a bit poorly, that's just going to be kind of maybe indulged or maybe not, but nobody's going to put two and two together.
Does it really exist, this radiation?
Well, there's lots of things we can't see that are very, very well understood by scientists. For example, molecules and atoms and all those tiny things. And radiation is just as small as that, really. It's just energy that is going through the air, and you can't see it because it's working on a very, very fine scale.
Right. So what can we do in Hay, do you think, now?
It's there because you use it to get the internet on your phone, or even just send a text message.
But we've got the government in London sort of showing off that you now have Wi-Fi underground and the tube, which I imagine is seriously frying your brain.
Yeah.
If it has to go underground and into those tunnels.
Very, very strong it must be. Yeah.
But they're showing off about it on the adverts. Yeah. How on earth do we try and persuade people of this unbelievable con?
Well, I suppose it's important to think about the fact that things that are accepted now as normal and real and important, 50 years ago nobody believed in, or, for example, TV. 100 years ago, if you told somebody that you could watch a picture of somebody on the other side of the world while sitting in your living room, they'd have thought you were crazy. But these things develop, opinion changes, things get discovered. For example, with the tobacco, that's seen now as a scam, whereas in the past it was seen as a great luxury to be able to smoke, and it was the coolest thing you could do. And now people realise the effects, and the science has eventually caught up, and so has the advertising is now banned. It wasn't before.
That to those people whose lives are kind of increasingly run by gadgets like this, why should this be a problem? Surely Hay's just coming up to date.
Well, I think the problem is going to be when they get brain tumours, because from what we've heard, the brain tumours, the amount of brain tumours has gone up by 50% in just over 10 years in the UK, which is an awful lot. Hay apparently does have rather too many brain tumours in children for the amount of children in the area. So, the young people, all they care about is getting the latest gadget. It's all aspirational stuff. They're not bothered at this stage. They're not going to listen to the fact that it could kill them. They just want to be, go on better than their friends. But, in time, when they do get the brain tumours and they do get senility, dementia at the age of 30, which is what's being predicted, then they'll be very worried then.
What you mentioned a government report about mobile phones with young children.
There's been countless reports. This goes back many years to, it was called the Stewart report, and he recommended precautionary principle that the children should be protected from this because the effects really long term were not known.
And these are the most vulnerable people that you're going to have in the whole area that are going to be sitting like bang on top of this. They're going to have absolutely no choice about being there all day every day or whatever. In doctor's surgery, you're going to have pregnant women going in, you're going to have young babies going in there. They're not going to be able to get away from it.
Because I don't think Hay needs a mast. Because the effects of the radiation being pumped 24/7 all year long, many years, will have a very profound effect on the people who are living in that radiation. And so I do not believe that having a working mobile phone in an area like this should be a priority.